This can be our silent time, yeah. I only see violets and roses, so I don't know who else is on there. Um, but it's nice to see. I just decided to come on early, a minute, whatever. So I want to talk about quite a few things. I am at Jason's because he's taking me to the doctor's tomorrow. I have two doctor's appointments the next 2 days. So I drove back and I am here in his apartment. And he's over there, but he's on his computer doing stuff. He'll say hello later on. Thank you for the one thumbs up. Somebody else is, I don't know what's going on here. Hi, MC. Hi, how are you? Hi, 3. Hi, Iris. How are you? Yeah, I'm going to talk about some things today. I'll tell you. Vons. Hey, Vons, my moderators. Thank you so much. Elsa, hi. Michelle. Scranton, Pennsylvania. I've been to Scranton. I was born in Pittsburgh. And I lived in Wexford for a few years. Hi, Darren. How are you? Yeah. We got the normal group here. Debbie. Janice. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you, Debbie. Bonnie from the Wild West, Virginia. All right. All purrs and paws. Hi, Trish. I am good. I'm glad. That lilac purple type of color. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, at this age, nothing really looks good. Let's just face it. I was just complaining to Jason. So I'm tired of being old. I mean, I have no other alternative, but, just getting tired of it. Gail, hi. Tamara. So I wanted to talk about this video. I don't know if all of you saw the video yesterday on those very expensive cubes. I call them cubes. They were homes for homeless. Well, most people only watch 4 minutes of a 10-minute video. That's all anybody watched was 4 minutes. When you think they missed, so I had a million comments, well, they need water, they need electric, I covered all that in the last 4 minutes. But because they didn't watch, they made these comments. But I guess I'm confused because, hi, Gail, I don't understand why anyone would think that a homeless person would buy these. They're too expensive for the homeless. And this was not a video on them buying it. I was presenting you something. They're supposedly work with nonprofit foundations. They have set up, and cities and states and counties, so that, like FEMA, if they had to rush so many housings for people because of a disaster, these people could do it. Now, these cities that have so many homeless, if they could set aside so much, I'm trying to do a better job here. Hi, Gail. Hi, Patty. A better job. I don't, well, nobody watched it, so they only watched 4 minutes, so nobody watched it. Maybe they'll watch the whole thing here. So, they could put a lot of homeless in these. They don't need sewage, but they've got to have water, which easy to do with the bottled water. I'll show you later on. I'm going to do a video. I'll show you running water and how to have running water. It's pretty easy. And, of course, the toilet is easy, too, if you got an incinerator or a, what are those ones that, composite toilet. That one I'm kind of worried about. Hi, Patty. How are you? Where's the other Patty? I wonder how she's doing back in Missouri. I love Missouri. Jason was born in Missouri. Anyway, she moved back there. I wonder how she's doing. I hope she's doing well. Anyway, so there were so many comments about this is too expensive for a homeless to buy. Well, of course it is. They're homeless. They don't have any money. They're not going to be buying them. However, there was a couple in there with me, and unfortunately no, it burns it. Incinerator. Michelle, it burns it. I don't really understand an incinerator other than it burns it up. That's called an incinerator toilet. I don't think so unless you empty it out. I didn't see anything like a drawer or anything on it. I just thought it burned it up inside. I'll have to research it, to be honest. We'll have to Google it and see what an incinerator toilet does and how it gets rid of it. It would just be ashes, I think. But you'd have to empty it eventually. It'd be full of ashes. I don't know. I don't know. But the reason I talked to a lot about there was a couple in there. They wanted to buy one to put in their backyard for her mother. And we were going to have a mother-in-law suite. And they liked the little one, but they were going to do this with the bigger one. So that's part, individuals can buy them too. But the homeless are definitely never going to buy them because they don't have any money. They're homeless. So, and the setup, water and all the rest of it, they'd have to have a setup. Well, homeless can't do that, but cities can. And this is a cheaper route than building all these buildings. My other thought process was we have all these empty malls, all these empty office buildings. Why are we not doing something with them for the homeless? But they have to, I guess they have to go in and retrofit them or do something so that they have toilets and because they don't normally have kitchens in them. But still, the parking lots on these malls are empty. Why couldn't people park there? Or if they're in RVs and you have a dumpster for them, and you have porta potty toilets for them, and you have water. They have water on those malls. They could bring out a hose. I don't know, guys. I'm just saying there's got to be alternative ways to deal with this. And I just think about it all the time because I live in a van, and I'm doing great. Trish and I are doing great, and yeah, I'm still there. Yeah. And I'm going back after I get back from Quartzsite. I'm going to Quartzsite in is it November? I think I'm going to go in November, maybe. I'm going to go in November. Trish is going on vacation the second week. I'm going to be gone, but I don't know if I'm going to be Quartzsite November or not, but I'm going. And I haven't heard too much back from anybody, any emails or anything about our boot camp. So if there isn't any interest in our boot camp, then, I need to find out if there's interest in it for newbies, if they're really interested in boot camp, or that maybe they used to do boot camps a lot, but, maybe there's no interest in it. I don't know. So, like I said, and Michelle, thank you for watching the whole video. But the analytics say most of the people only watched 4 minutes and 4.35 minutes. And yeah, they give us all these analytics on them. Okay, so like I said, cities and counties, this is more expensive than a lot of other things they're looking at. Less expensive than a lot of other things they're looking at. And yeah, there's problems. There's problems with any kind of little space. But they have a king size and a queen size in the bedrooms. Why? Put a small twin in there, do it the opposite direction, it'll fit. And then you can, if you don't want those windows, close the curtains and put wardrobe up there. For that's where you have drawers and you have place to hang. Because they don't have built-in closets other than the big one. The little one you can create your own with a wardrobe. So it could be workable, but it was interesting. I thought you guys would enjoy seeing it. One woman said to me, I always like your videos. It's the first one I don't like. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, and the windows are insulated, those special windows. But yeah, you do have to clean them. But don't you ever clean your walls? I clean my walls. When I was in my apartment, I always cleaned my walls. I would wash my walls down at least once a year. So, it's also better than tents. I just find tents to be really unsanitary. I just don't think tents are the way to go. They might be really cheap, but these offer more. However, they're going to be destroyed. The homeless pretty much destroy everything. They're going to be destroyed. Even the houses you build, even if you retrofit or fit in the malls, they're going to be destroyed. They are. Uh, okay, so I did more. There was a comment on my last live where someone was talking about a license through the sheriff's department, a permit or a license for parking in a van, living in a van. And I went online, and did you know that DMV has always, and it's been on the books, house cars. House cars are, the more research I did, the more I was fascinated. There were vehicles being, once they started building them, being turned into people actually building mini houses on them. There are all kinds of pictures of them. I'm going to do a video on it, but they charge for those pictures. Like, I went to one place and the black phone, there was a black phone there. They wanted $33 for me to use that picture of a black phone. I'm like, are you kidding? If I've got 10 pictures, I'm looking at $300 or $400 to do the video. I don't make that kind of money. Be lucky to make $10, much less 300. That's what it's, so I am doing animated. I'm going into AI and I'm describing what I want, and animated is giving it to me. And now I've created it. It's not a copyright, and I don't have to pay anybody to use the picture. I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you. I'm just kind of, okay. Doesn't an incinerator require fire? It's inside it. It's inside. It's, again, I got to Google it. Jana. Yeah, but it's inside. It's inside the toilet. Lori, I rarely catch you live. Oh, I'm so glad you made it, Lori. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Interesting what's out there. Yeah, I was just, it's something new, something different. When I almost fell through the floor when he told me the price, but I do not want burning doo-doo near my home. Vance, remember, this is better than a tent, okay? It's better than having doo-doo you can step in beside your tent. Better. They were cool. I did like them. I did like them. Now, I'm never going to buy one. I don't have that kind of money. But it was interesting, and I thought people would enjoy seeing them. Another option, someone else's idea of how to help with the housing. So people are thinking about it. But this permit, there's 3 counties in the state of California, and one of them was Tuolumne, and there were 2 other. They're towards the Tahoe area, or up in there, where you have a permit, and you will have a place. You keep that permit in your window, or wherever. You have a place to park. They'll tell you where you can park, and you'll be fine and safe. So 3 counties are working on that right now. So people are coming up with ideas, and I really think they should give us a permit. But I had no idea DMV calls it house cars. Yeah, not RVs, house cars. I am still checking that out, and I want to, like I said, I want to go in. I was telling Jason, you have to fill out a form. I'm going to take the form in, and I want to find out what they consider a house car, because they're saying if you've changed your vehicle to live in it, that whatever it is you're doing, it has to be permanent. So I don't know if I have to put a black tank on, which I would never use, but do I have to put a black tank on, or a water tank, or can I just have water, built sitting there? I'm going to buy it, I think. And then I'll have literally running water as a sink. I think it's all plastic, and then it has and then at the bottom of it is water tanks, and it comes up, and then it drains into another tank. It has its own tank, a gray water tank. So, and then the flushable toilets, I was told, and I don't know if this is true. Again, I have to go in and research all of this, guys. That one of those that's flushable, where they have 5-gallon or 3-gallon, and then you empty it, that works for a toilet. Those 2 things, then you have an RV or a house car that you can now get RV insurance on. and you get a special permit. Now, I didn't quite, and I printed it out, and I didn't print it out. I screenshot it. I'm still reading it. I don't understand all of it. I just keep reading it. I may show it to Jason, see if he can tell me what it's all about. But it talks about RVs. It's considered different from an RV. A vehicle, a van. Yeah, it's very complicated, and yet not. I don't know. Just doesn't cover enough about it burns up, magically goes away. Yeah, I'm thinking it just magically goes away, Michelle. I knew it'd have to burn, but I'm thinking, well, that must all be inside. Hidden. Hi, Martina. Yeah, there's lots of empty properties, empty places that are not being used. Now, a lot of the military bases that were empty with all this housing that was suited for multiple people. The barracks were multiple people, and so many toilets, and that would have been great for some of the homeless. But instead, like in San Francisco, it was given to the rich and very expensive place. And Fort Ord, they made it into a golf course instead of using of course, it is far away from everything. So how are they going to get food? How are they going to, again, a lot of the bases are so far away that they can't get food and stuff. So, I just have a lot of things I wish I had more answers. I wish I was a smarter person, really. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, empty malls. To me, there's a toilet there already there. There's several toilets there already that people can use. They're, just block off everything and just have the doors to the toilets. Again, then you have to think about crime and women going to those toilets and the drug addicts. And it can be very scary. And for women, it's a very scary scenario. So, yeah. There's so many questions to this and not enough answers. Unused, really. A Walmart closed down, and that was the other thing. They're all talking about, I hope I'm not too political today. They're all talking about these jobs. We don't have any jobs, Nobody's even talking about the fact that they don't call it that, but I'm going to be politically incorrect. All the theft that's going on with all these stores. Since I worked at Walmart, I saw it every day, walking out with hundreds of dollars. These stores are closing because they're getting wiped out. They're, even if they tried to make a profit, they can't. Not with that much theft going on. We had tons of it, but our police do come and they do put them in jail. So from my little town, yeah, they're still doing it, but many of the big cities aren't. And so all the stores are closing because they can't afford to stay open. Nobody's talking about all those jobs, those community jobs being lost in the community. That's another part of all this. We have so many problems, guys. Homelessness, and that creates homelessness. If people can't pay their rent, they just lose their job. It just goes around in a circle. It just goes, yeah. Everybody's saying hi, Jason.
Hi.
Vaughn said hi. Hi, Audrey. I don't even know if I should be talking about this. Hi, Carter. Fugal Mom. Hi. Cece, people are afraid to live in their vehicles now. I'm not afraid to live in my vehicle. It's just as safe. Have you seen all the home invasions? Have you seen the crime? Look around. There's story after story after story of all the crime going on. Apartments, being invaded. It's total chaos right now. I feel like it's lawless. Wild, wild west out there. Really is. It's not even funny, guys. There's so much crime going on in house invasions and carjackings. It doesn't matter. I don't think you're safe anywhere. You live where you are and do the best you can. Some of the channels I'm subscribed to, I've become, yes, they do that. YouTube, Frugal Mom, they do that. They unsubscribe people. Oh, thank you so much. I don't know where the pickle is. I'm going to finish this. Um, and every 6 months they unsubscribe my subscribers. Maybe 200 or 300. They just unsubscribed maybe 200 in 2 weeks. And then I did that executive order video. Now they brought everybody back plus a couple hundred more. They do it, and I contact them and then they change it. I don't know what's happening. But I do know anytime they do an update or they just added these little crowns, that's when it happens. They're not, and then it takes some time to get it all back. Carol's going through the same thing. She and I were talking about it. My videos aren't doing, they're not presenting my videos. They're kind of just keeping them under the cover. It's just kind of, goes with the territory, I guess. Walter, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Walter. This is a thank you, Walter. So when I get a super chat, I say thank you. Walter, you must be new. Thank you so much. So, yeah, there's so much chaos. I'm in a very safe neighborhood. I don't trust it. I don't think any place is safe. Crime happens everywhere, to everyone. It doesn't matter where you're in. Now, if you're in a tent in the middle of the city, yeah, you got 100% chance of serious crime, So I'm doing the best I can, but I'm in a very nice area. Please push the like button. Thank you so much. Not only through the environment. Okay. You know a lot about this, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you for the information. I just, I'm just talking about it. I'm not an expert on anything. Not incinerator toilets, let me tell you. I wouldn't have one. I'd rather have a compost toilet and use the compost. Trish, well, she doesn't use poop, but she has an electric composter, and she used it, and she showed me the soil that comes out of it from, rinds, and she has oranges and all, the food, and beautiful dirt, no poop burning under my home. You guys are so funny. I clean my walls every fall. Yeah, I do. I have always cleaned my walls. So having glass wouldn't be any different from walls. How do you think this new executive order is going to affect people that are doing our lifestyles? I'm going to wait and see, but honestly, they're trying to come up with ways. If I could get a permit saying I can live in my vehicle, again, there's DMV, says house cars. Every city is going to be different, every state, every county. We got 3 counties in California that are trying to find permanent places for us. I think they're going to have to come up with more permanent places for people to spend the night. They don't have to live there, but they spend the night safely. And that's the other thing, safely. So when you're in a group, then to me, when I'm in a group, I don't know everybody in that group. And just anybody can come in, and then you might have violence, you might have theft, you might have anything. Or you may have nothing. It's just a crapshoot. It really is. It really is. And I honestly, unless, of course, we can fight this. If my town, you need to go to the city council meetings, you need to go to any of the meetings the city have if they're going to present new laws, new rules, whatever, and become involved. And maybe give them a different viewpoint that they haven't heard of. Carol did that. She helped a lot with that. Wished we had a couple million Carols. But if we want to do something, we're going to have to become involved in local government, not federal. Forget that. I'm too old for federal. But local government, So I want to say no, but I'm always positive. I really don't think it's going to affect everybody. Everybody's, I don't want to say fear-mongering, but I feel that way when I see videos about, oh, how terrible, and they're getting harassed, and this is disappearing, and they're selling lands, and I'm like, what land? No specifics, nothing specific. What lands? You know. Um, I've been doing this 5 years, and yes, I've had harassment, and I was on private property, but I just laughed it off, and eventually they just stopped. I mean, it, I don't care. I don't care if I show you my ID. Just go away. I show you my ID, then they leave. You know, I've had lots of knocks on the door, and and I told you this, guy, lived in my minivan for 2 years in the KFC parking lot with a written approval. It's private property from KFC in the dash. They didn't care. 2 o'clock, at least once a month, they would knock on my door and ask my ID. And I'd just go, here. Do you not see the sign? Do you not read what's on the dash? They never had anything to say. Oh, and then they'd go away. And finally I said, don't you guys talk to each other? Aren't you a small department? That was in Davis. Don't you talk to each other? Do you not know I'm on private property with permission to stay in my van? But they just kept kicking people out. Or trying to. Never did me. They walked away the minute I showed them my ID, and they just walked away. I always do it nicely. I think your body language and the tone of your voice, if you come across aggressive, you can always be assertive. There's a thin line between assertive and aggressive, and how they perceive it. And if they perceive you're being aggressive, they're not liking it. I just, I don't even try to talk to them. I just give them the ID. My son, Jason, goes, you don't have to show them your ID. And I'm like, what does it matter? I've never even had a ticket. Why do I care? I don't care if I show them my ID. And then they can go away. I don't want to be up for 20 minutes fighting with a cop at my van, and then he's going to come back every other night, or a different one. Instead of once a month, they're going to come back every other night. No, thank you. No, I'm not going to do that. Doesn't hurt me to show my ID. I don't care. It's tied. They already have all the information with my license plate. So I just show it to them. Who cares? That makes sure I belong in that vehicle. They're just trying to make sure you're the same person in that vehicle that's tied to that license plate. I don't know, No, tents are not sustainable. Hi, John. Sherry and John. Hi, how are you? Okay. Maybe it's a good critter deterrent. You mean the poop? Hi, Audrey. Deterrent. Good. What you create. What I talk about. What am I creating? I don't know. Oh, you mean, yes, I really like this animated stuff. I'm still working on it. I'm not real good, but I've figured out how to make pictures, and they're all animated. So if you're watching my videos, you're going to see a lot of them, because I'm not paying for pictures of a phone, $33 for a phone, or $12 for a princess phone. I'm not going to do it, And if that's all I can get, I'm not going to pay that kind of money. This is craziness. There are some free sites, but I have yet to find the ones that I really want the exact thing about it. I found something on a 1915 house car, which is what they called them then. And then I saw tons of it, and I was going to write that down. I'll put up a post and tell you where to look. It's vintage something or other. It's a site, just pictures of all these vehicles. I think 1902 was the first one, or 1915, this one was pretty famous. It was pretty, tons of them. And boy, people built them out of wood. It was amazing. Individuals. And then, of course, in the 1930s, that's what they lived out of, too. So we have done this, lived out of vehicles for almost 125 years. This is something we've always done. And if it wasn't before that, it was wagons, which are vehicles, because we didn't have a real vehicle. But a wagon train, they lived out of those wagons. So it's always been a part of America. I don't see it stopping. I think it's always been there. We've done it for ever since America started crossing over the country, and I think we're always going to have it. That's what I think, and I'm being positive because the abuse can happen with anything. Abuse can happen with anything. Are you? I tried Gemini. I didn't quite understand it. The chat GBT Gale, they're telling me is a little bit better. What I'm using, you're not going to believe this, YouTube. YouTube Shorts, there's a little star up in the corner. If you hit that, it takes you into AI and creating your own photo or your own short video, 3-minute video. And it's easy. It's so easy. Yeah, they're cute and homey. They're expensive. Yeah, Martina, a zoning issue. They don't want a lot of these counties or state, well, mainly counties. I think it's mainly counties. I think each county has a different zoning ordinance where they have restrictions on what size of house you can put on a piece of land, what you can do with that piece of land. Maybe you can't even build on it. Maybe it's just farmland. So before you buy anything, well, who can afford land? You got to know the zoning. I'm not going to buy land. At 78, I'm not interested in buying land anymore. I don't want a house. I told Jason I don't even care about a tiny house. It's just too much for my little brain to keep thinking about. Trailer is all I think the trailer is the route I'm going. And if I could stay at Trish's, then I'm going to be staying there a long time. Me and Trish get along, and I love that, sitting outside. If she had a place for me to put an RV, I'd put it and pay her rent every month. But yeah, you're right, Martina. You would consider. How it works is a different story. Hi, Donna. I'm going to see you. I hope you're crossing across the border with all the changes in courtside this year. I hope you're coming. I'm going to try to talk Jason into coming for a couple of days doing RTR, not WRTR. And talk to Trish. She's thinking about coming to the RTR in just a couple of days. I don't know if Jason will do it or not. AL is putting workers out of a job. Yes, Martina, they are. They are. Crime is putting workers out of a job. And we could control crime, but we can't control the AI because it's a new thing. So I'm trying to learn it so I can be a part of that. And I don't know. Everything's changing so much. It's some kind of frustrating sometimes. I want to put up videos that aren't clickbait. I get more views if it's drama, but I really don't want that much drama. And I almost didn't do the executive order, except I didn't like what I was seeing from all these videos. Oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. They haven't done anything yet. I mean, they just cleared out a huge one, several places. They didn't put the people anywhere. They just cleaned and took all their stuff. So where they go? I think 30 people went into housing, 30 in L.A., in a big encampment that they had. I do watch all this stuff. Do I want to talk about it? Well, a million people talk about it. It's good clickbait. They make lots of money doing this. But it's not me. I'm more positive, and nobody's as positive as I am. I'm like, it's not going to affect me because I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm also going to become, if I can, more involved with my city. Yeah. Power to you. Yeah. And I want to thank my moderators. I also want to thank my members for being members. Oh, yeah, I don't know if they're electric. But you know what? You would attach to electricity. I was talking to Jason, I have 6,500 watts of power in my three generators that I have. I have another generator. I'm going to give away a 1,000-watt generator. Otherwise, I would have 7,500 watts in solar generators. And I only keep them charged up with 400 watts on my roof. Plus, I do have, but yeah, I mean, electricity is the least of my worries, mine, okay? Water would be the main thing for me, water, yeah. Pallet Cobb Home, very interested. You know what, I saw something on that, but I didn't stop to watch it. So I see a lot of things I'm very interested in. And I'm just trying to learn AI. I just want to understand it. It's like anything else. When mainframes came out again, you guys know, I did programming and I helped install the first mainframe from World Savings and Loan. My department was the one they installed it on. So I went through school at night, computer programming and all that at night. I'm very interested in this kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm just a little freaky, I guess. I'm supposed to help with homelessness. However, if you can't afford an apartment, how can you? Frugal mom, you're not buying it. The homeless aren't buying it. The cities are. Instead of putting up tents, they could put up this. They could afford this more than they could afford building a building, billions of dollars for a building. This is you're not. This is for cities. This is not for the homeless to buy. Yeah. So, yeah, we have to look at it as this is going to be something FEMA might use, or L.A. You know, instead of putting up tents for their homeless, they bring in modulars. They bring in tiny homes, or they bring in something. It doesn't have to be this. But some tiny homes are over 100,000. They're a couple 100,000 at this point. The only one that I know of that's reasonable is Incredible Tiny Homes, and he's 20,000. But I haven't checked his out for a long time. Permit for house car sounds like state getting more money from us. No, Patty, because when you get this permit, from what I read, you don't have to pay fees. You don't have to pay for registration. However, you can't drive it. It has to sit somewhere. So all the fees are dropped on your car if it's sitting somewhere. They always want money out of us, Patty. Listen, they're brilliant about getting money out of us. Brilliant. I didn't tell you guys. I'm doing a video on this. So don't tell anybody. I'm doing a video. Do you know they have a GoFundMe for the U.S. Treasury Department? Did you know that? Not only do they get our tax money, but they're in such desperate straits. They did a GoFundMe. And as of a week ago, they got $68 million from people donating to the U.S. Treasury Department. Think about that. They figure out all kinds of ways to get money from us. You know, oh, I'm going to tell you a scam. I get an email, and it says Easy Pass. So I go across bridges here, and I have to pay the bridge toll, and it's, I forget what ours is called, Fast Track. And they send you a bill. So, and I just automatically paid it. It's all going to VA. I've had to cross a couple of bridges. I paid all. Well, I know I've paid all my bills. I keep them, and then I paid, and when I get a bill for $8.96. Not a lot. But it automatically, I go, oh, I thought I paid all these. I don't understand that this Easy Pass is different. And so I'm going in to pay it. I'm $8.09. I'm just going to pay it. I go in, and it wants me to fill out my name and everything, and right above it, in the print, it says, you will not get any information for this until you have filled out all the information and paid for it. Then we will tell you which ticket it is. Oh, no, that's not the way it works. I want to know the ticket. I want to know the day. I want to know what you're talking about. So I just deleted it, and they disappeared completely. Normally, they just go back on your, I just stopped working on it. I said, oh no. And it was a scam. So if they get 1,000 people, because I'm in the Bay Area and I cross bridges and I pay these, I assumed I had to pay it. But Easy Pass is only on the East Coast. So it wasn't even a California company. It was an East Coast company. When did I drive back there? Oh, the scam. And then I'll tell you another one. Oh, maybe I won't. They are trying to consider motorized wheelchairs as motor. And oh, really? So they can, if it's a vehicle, then they can charge you? Oh my gosh, you're kidding. No. Audrey, that's crazy. A wheelchair? Then these mobile scooters, I have a mobile scooter. They're going to want to do that too. Yes, everything's getting out of hand. Iris, everything. I hate even turning on, looking at anything because there's something crazy going. They're doing this and they're doing that. It's crazy. Yeah, they want a tax for, and they really this should be illegal. I'm sorry. I think we have to pull the reins on our government. They're going out of control. Both sides, not one side. Don't talk about one side. Both of these. This has been going on for years. Tax after tax after tax, increase after increase. They got to stop. And now they've got so much debt, and they're a GoFundMe. Oh yeah. Sorry. I don't normally have a live like this. Hi, Monica. Oh, hi, Patty. How are you liking Missouri? Working on preparing our land for tiny home. Oh, so you're going to put a bunch of tiny homes there. I love Missouri. It's a very beautiful state. It really is. You have lots of water. My main concern with Arizona, New Mexico, Oklahoma, water. Water. Yeah. Incinerates, so you need electric for that too. Hi, Ivan. Diane. I'm great. Hello, yes. California might be getting rid of smog check, but it might be replaced with vehicle check. Really? I just can't keep up with all of it. I really can't. I really can't. I just want to be a hermit and hide from but I can't, I'm not that kind of person. I can just stick my head in the sand. I just don't know where to start, what to start correcting or fighting or saying, stop doing this. We've got enough taxes. Do you realize, I read this about a month ago, there are 70 million baby boomers, and by 2030, 62% of them are expected to be homeless. Think about that. And where are they going to go? Yeah. And who knows what that will entail? Yeah, who knows? I mean, they're just ripping us off. And they don't do any. Sorry. How much do they do? Really? How much do they really do? Have to think about crime no matter. Oh, you have to, Patty. You have to think about crime. I try to stay in certain areas, certain cities. I have to look around. You have to be aware of everything. Crime is everywhere. And again, I'm going to say, it doesn't matter if you're in an apartment, a condo, a house, a van, wherever. Crime is everywhere. It's invading everything. There are not safe places. Not. But I knew this in my 20s when I got kidnapped in the doctor's parking lot in 1971. Guys, nothing is safe. So I will never say, oh, this is safe. I will try never to say this is safe. It's not. I'm as safe as I can be with all of my precautions. But you still have to be aware of your surroundings, and you can't lose it. You have to be smart enough to get out of scenarios. Kelly, hi. Oh, thank you. Invet traveled the world. It runs on propane it runs on propane, and I saw one where you have to put these filters into beforehand each time. Really? See, I don't know anything about them. Thank you so much for telling us. We got to do something about that. Figure that out, guys. I am so worried about the working class that cannot afford their house or apartments. Shoot the price of meat. And, price of meat. Every week it's going up. Listen, but that's not the only thing. I feel ripped off. I feel ripped off about a lot of things. I bought some pudding. The little packet of 4 little cups. That cup was a third empty. It was all the way up to the top. Third empty, and it's more expensive. So there's a certain word for that. Not only that, but we're not getting what we're paying for. If I'm paying a higher fee, I want the full cup of pudding. Not a third of it's gone. It's down about that much. I took a picture of it and then it wasn't good enough. I was going to talk about it. I'm talking about it now, huh? Hi, Ken. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Today for 2 bags of groceries. Where'd you get them? Did you go to Walmart or did you go to Grocery Outlet? You know what? The dehydrator I did the movie on, the video. That dehydrator I love. So I bought a large bag of onions and a couple of large bags of peppers because I've used up all those hydrated peppers. I love them. They take little storage. Once you dehydrate it, it just doesn't take any storage at all versus a big bag like this. It's a little thing like this, and you just put it away. It tastes fine. Not as good as fresh. I will never say that. My Patriot, I think I'm going to start getting that dried food, like 25-year preppers food. They want to sponsor me, so I want to try some. I do have some. I just haven't opened it up. I just have so many projects, guys. I'm sorry. I get 5 and 6 offers every day, and trying to figure out what projects and do. I mean, dog watching. Dog watching settled down. There were a couple of days that were scary. Yeah, whatever. But I'm doing better. All of us saw it coming. We've all, I remember talking about the man, okay? We want to stay under the radar of the man. Well, there's nobody under the radar now. They know where we're at. They track us on everything. I don't want a new vehicle. It's got tracking devices on it. And Alexa. You know how I hate Alexa. Don't even get me started on Alexa. She's going to help me with it. Did you hear that? And Trish has Alexa. You know how I feel. A house car is a motor vehicle originally designed or permanently altered. Yes, I know. I read it. Yes, that's what I'm reading. Yes. Thank you, Martina. Yes, I have that printed out somewhere. Yeah, groceries are crazy. I'm saying that they are afraid to live in their vehicles because they might get arrested for being homeless. Depends on what you do and where you're at. Like I said, I've been living in mine for 5 years. I haven't been arrested. I don't expect to be arrested. I don't expect it. I really don't. I'm not doing drugs. I'm respecting my environment. I'm staying under the radar. I do know the police in my area. I know the Walmart in my area. They have allowed me to park there as much as I want, and yet they have signs that say no parking. But they've said, no, you can park. Don't just ignore the signs. We're fine with you parking here. The police, I have certain streets. I'm fine. Now, this could change, but I'm in a small town. And I've made myself part of the community, senior center. I have gas station friends where I go to the gas station. You guys, you can create a community. Now, I'm still welcome there, but now I'm making a community with Trish in Santa Rosa. And on the street, I'm trying to meet the neighbors. I'm trying to be polite. I don't do any littering. I don't do anything other than I have a plug that comes into my van that runs my air conditioner. So no, I'm not afraid of that. No. I don't think you should be afraid of it. I think there's so many people yelling and screaming and saying all this nonsense. We have to use a little common sense. This hasn't even happened yet. Nobody says it's happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. So I think I want to see facts on this. I want to see someone say, oh yeah, I got arrested and thrown in jail for being homeless in my van. I haven't seen it yet. Have you? I don't know. Law can be performed. Yeah. Quit giving all the illegals and help people with needs. Yeah, I don't want to go in there, but I don't disagree with you. I think our laws, we're lawless. Lots of crime, lots of things that shouldn't be happening. And then they are. So, I think people making problems are who is going, yeah, the people who are making the problems, the belligerent, the aggressive, the drugs, the people who attack other people, or they're standing out in the street that have mental issues, yelling up and down. I told you guys, when I was in Davis, living there, homeless considered me a friend because I would feed them every night. I would take stuff from KFC instead of throwing it away, and I would take it to certain people, certain homeless. And one guy I picked up, he just gave up on life. He laid down on the street in 100-degree weather with blankets on him, and he passed away on the street. His best friend had me pick him up, came with me and picked him up. They were both homeless, and I took them to an apartment that he had rented for a couple of nights, or somebody had for him. It's a horrible lifestyle. Now, these two men didn't cause any problems, but it's scary to walk through some of the streets where they're just out there just going crazy and yelling at you and shoving you, and and the homes. I have compassion for this side, but I understand this side too. There are two sides to everything. I don't have any answers. But I would be afraid of not having a safe place to park. Yeah, that would be more of a fear, having a safe place to park. Yes. Definitely a compost tote. I think so too, Patty. You have spoken of Dr. I don't know what you're saying. No, I've never been arrested either. It's kind of scary. And yet, I did a sarcastic comment on that video that said, well, guess what? I could go to jail, free food. And boy, did I hear about that. It was very sarcastic. I don't want to go to jail. But I did a very sarcastic comment like, yeah, free food, free health, free this and that. And then somebody said, I was in there, there's no free dental. I didn't know that. Yeah, I may not go now. I'm being sarcastic. From living in their vehicle, so what, they have to sleep on the park is better? Yeah, Vance, none of it makes sense. Would sign it is in your best interest of this lifestyle. Yeah. Welcome our input. It's very important. Yes, Patty, it's very important for us, even we're living in our vehicles, to go and become a part of the community and go to the community meetings and present your side of the story. They only know one side. They don't know another side. You have to show that there's good and bad in everything. There's two sides in every story. Yeah, we have to be a part of the decision making. Hi, Underhill, forced out of their home. Yes, and so many new laws being passed to make life. Yes, and the cities are doing this, and yet they have no answer to it. So how do you pass these laws with your conscience? I understand why you're doing it. I understand why they're doing it, but they have to have an alternative, and they have to have it set in motion. It has to be prepared. It can't just say, well, this is what we're going to do. But no, have it set there. Have the rules. Show us what you're going to do. And then come up with a law. But people have to have an alternative, have to have an option. You're not giving them anything. Yeah, I feel they want to, well, as an old person, I feel that way anyway. Employers are not hiring now because of the tariffs. We need work. No, not just because of the tariffs, Martina. That's not true either. They're not hiring because of AI. They're not hiring because of theft. I mean, they're closing because of all the crime. Let's not talk about tariffs. Let's talk about crime. Everybody forgets this crime. Crime will destroy us. Tariffs aren't going to destroy me, but crime will. They can come up and unlive me. Okay? That's my priority, is the crime, getting it under control, getting something, anything under control. Are you still thinking about tiny house living? No, Ann. No, because I don't think I have that many years I want to invest in a tiny house. No. I think at this point I'm done. I would like a little travel trailer, maybe. Some magic. Does anyone think maybe they're registering us as houses so they can track us better? They already do track us. What's one more thing? They already track us. There is no one under the radar. If you think you're under the radar, you're crazy. They're tracking us. They're tracking us through our phones, through our registration. Everything's tracked, Misty. Everything. And we used to not want to do this. You could go under the so the big man wouldn't see you. Not anymore. Everything. And the new cars. Oh. No, fear-mongering serves no one. It doesn't. We've got to come up with solutions. We've got to come up with some kind of answer to the problem. And that's what we need to do. This became so political. I am so sorry. I'm sorry. Hi, Robin. Misty, they're doing something, maybe they want to find a way to tax. Yeah, taxes, tax this, tax that. Yeah. Don't get me started on taxes. I'm against the ban, okay? But not a single person. I am against the whole government and how huge it is, and we need to shrink it down and bring them under control. Our control. We're paying their money. Right. Right, okay. Bye, Underhill. You're all talking. It's apparently parked under tribal land and had 2 police cars. Really? I couldn't help but grin. I love a man in a uniform. Then the tribal officer showed up, all to see me. So you got to flirt for a little bit at an older age, right? All right. You just have to be careful wherever you live. Whenever hard times come, crimes go up. Yeah. I don't know how bad it was in the 1920s during the Big Depression. It had to have been bad. Troy, hi, made it. Like your little home other day, but was a little, yeah, it was expensive. I knew, once he told me. I mean, I was doing it before I knew the price. And it is. But Troy, we can't pay that. The homeless aren't going to buy those. But the cities, it gives the cities another alternative to put homeless in other than tents. I disagree with tents. I just disagree with it. Jason got a phone call. I'm not sure where it was going. I didn't see the comment. Tribal lands don't like intruders and don't blame them. They've already had so much taken from them. Well, the other thing is there are tribal lands that will rent you a spot. And I saw a comment on that. I don't know whether it was in Oklahoma, but some tribes have spots that they will rent you to permanently live on the land, but you have to pay so much. I've heard that. That's another thing I got to research. I agree, tiny house on wheels or RV on wheels, thinking about keeping my truck. Yeah, Patty, I'd keep my truck. Hi, Ark. I never heard of a house car. Me neither till I saw it in the DMV pamphlet. I went online looking for it. Misty makes some magic. I'm with you on needing to learn the AI, and now I've started a channel. It's a lot. Yes, Misty, and just be patient with your channel, okay? Because there'll be months they're just nobody watches nothing, or they hate your guts, or the comments are really bad. That's why I don't like being political, because they just go off on you, you know. Count on his, yes, life change. That's about it. And we can count on dying too, and paying taxes for sure. I wonder what other country would be like if we gave the land back to the native Indians. Well, that's an interesting thing, Bones. It is. It's very interesting giving it the land back. Hi, Carol. Just able to pull over. Okay, hi. All right. Yeah, Martina, it wouldn't be any worse than it is. We just have so many problems. It's just, everything's hitting us, you know, and I've prioritized things in my head that I want to, you know, work on. No matter who's in charge at the top, I just got to keep moving. Yeah, yeah. No matter who it is, no matter which way yeah. Donna, I plan to be at the RTR in January. I doubt there'll be any problems at the border. We'll see. I missed that, Lindy. Oh, I missed that. Oh my goodness, violets and roses. Thank you so much. Here's the pickle, second time. Thank you so much, violets and roses. Thank you. I see, Patty, you haven't been to L.A. in 20 years. I've been through it, going to courtside. It keeps taking me through it, and I hate it. I hate the grapevine. So I now have my own way of getting down there. They are not going to do more paperwork unless it's benefiting them. Yep. True. Thank you. Craze Vintage Model. Are you the ones that show the vintage cars? I think I was on your site. I'm not sure, but I think I was. Yes. And know if I'm living in my vehicle, I'm going to be rolling. Yep. Yep. Pickle time. Thank you. I got the same scam. Really? I mean, it's minor, so you don't think anything about it, you just pay it. But 1,000, 10,000 people, that's 80 some of the $89,000. Blessings to you, yes. I hope I'm not missing anything. I would tell you about this other, but we've been talking for an hour. I have another one that maybe next week I'll tell you about. It was big money, and I just kind of started laughing at it. Sends you a text or email saying you owe money, asking you to hit a link or, yeah. It's usually a scam, Carol. You're right. It really is. Hi, Barbara. As well as other industries. Yeah, yeah. AI is going to put a lot out, but it's also going to create some. Oh, thank you so much. I don't know who this is. JJ just got on. Forgot you were on today. Love and hugs, Wisconsin. Thank you, JJ. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. I'm so far behind. I just keep talking. I try very hard not to be political. Barbara. Hi, Barbara. I never click the link. Yeah, never click the link. I never do either. Oh, the UK, Scotland. Hi, Maura. That stat about how homeless boomers is scary. Yeah, it scares me half to death. And I'm going to go back and check it again because 62%. Now, a lot of people are going to die. 70 million by 2030. That's 5 years. There, you know, how many boomers are going to pass in that time? Sue me if I owe you money. Yeah. Good way to think about it, Patty. Yeah. Oh, I get these. I was telling Jason, I kept getting these messages, these phone calls. I needed to call, not a moderator, but or someone. Anyway, they're saying I owe something. It's not true, and they want me to call and get my own lawyer or whatever, and I just delete them. Yes, I love Missouri, but sadly, Jason, no TJs anywhere near me. Patty Irwin just moved to Missouri, and there's no Trader Joe's, Jason. She's trying. Do you have a smart and fine? No, I don't, Vons. No. Shrinkflation. Yes, Ann, you're right. That's exactly what it's called. Dawn, I went into the Dollar Tree to get some applesauce cups. The price went up, and the cups are, oh yeah, the cups are much smaller. Yes, Ivan, yes, shrinkflation. I couldn't believe it when I opened up that pudding. It was so low, it made me so angry. And the tuna fish, same way. Used to be full. You open up a tuna fish can now? Mm-mm. My next squirrel is the Canada Wixit. Anyone heard about it? No, I haven't, Ken. $3 for one bell pepper today. Oh, no. No, I buy a bag of 8 large ones. Now, they're not green. They're red, yellow, and orange for $4.99 at Grocery Outlet. And what I'm doing is because I don't know how long that price is going to last, I'm going to buy a bunch of packages tomorrow. I'm going to dehydrate all that and just put it in my own packaging, and then I have it. I'm trying to get better about this. You just have to know your prices. And yes, you do. Ken, aren't 3 of the areas are separating from the rest of Canada or something? I don't know anything about that. My goodness. I think it's probably a good thing. Could go either way. I think, yeah, okay. In pre-order, all under review. Okay. Beth Grant, sadly we have more and more working poor. Yes, yes. You look like you go to your county commissioners meetings. Yeah, Jesse, you got to get involved. You know, you got to get involved. I got deeply involved in my community where I'm at. You have to go to prison for free dental, at least in California. Really, Patty? Somebody was saying they got out of prison and it wasn't dental. I don't know. Known as thing that homeless will act up so they get arrested. Yes, and Japan, the older ladies do minor things to go to jail because they don't have any place to live. They're living on the streets. Only You're not supposed to know about that. Do we get warm? Yes, yes. Sorry, I am a little bit late. Fine, Carter. Reactive instead of proactive. Yes, we need to be proactive. We need to. We need to pull in our government. Incarcerated people. Oh, Beth, we are fortunate that our country's supervisors want our suggestions. Yes, very good, Beth. Working poor will be able to be legal. Yes. I say if they would give us permits to be van dwellers or house cars or whatever, to live in our vehicles and a safe place to park. So, we could, it would really work. I think it would be beneficial for everybody. There's a vid on YouTube saying that since the border closed, the cartels are now breaking. Yes, they are. They're crossing the borders and they're breaking into all these homes and stuff. Yes, I've seen like 3 videos on it. It's terrible. 10 years ago, 40,000. Yep, Patty. Now it's 73,000. And it's going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger. It's just terrible. Aren't enough safe shelters in the U.S. for a crisis, weather, or invasion for people who need to get inside? No, there's not. We used to, every house in Texas used to have a underground, like it could be a cellar or just a separate unit. I remember we had one, and when the tornadoes would come or stuff would come, we could get in. It's not there anymore. I think crime is worse than it. 10 times worse. I've never seen anything like this, Barbara. No. You're not in your van. I'm at my son's house. Yeah, I'm here because I have to go to the doctor's and he has to take me. So I'm sitting here, and it just so happens it's my day. Fixing is making so much. Patty, not fixing, is making them so much. Yes. Homelessness is about money, guys. Never think it isn't. I work for a nonprofit. I know exactly what a lot of them do. I'm just saying, as long as they have homeless, they got money, big bucks, making salaries. Once the homeless disappears, a huge amount of money disappears out of their flow, out of their hands. They're not going to let that happen. Hi, Bernie. Hi, Bernie. I'm so glad you made it. Yeah, I agree. I really do. Hi, Carol Vaughn. I'm trying to get you guys. We've been talking a little bit over. Tomorrow's my... Oh, happy birthday, Jade. Jade Slade. Exactly frugal, yes. Yes. So, Lindy, do you use cell phone or GoPro? I use my cell phone for everything. I don't have... My son has a GoPro, and he loaned it to me, and I just couldn't use it. I just gave it back to him. Yeah. Claimed that a tiny home for the homeless would cost $130,000. Yes, but you can buy a shed for $10,000. Yeah, that makes sense. Right. And so they don't even, because it's free money, they don't even watch our money. They don't budget, and they're not held to accountability. And I've said, I have been driving one of my representatives crazy. Where's the accountability? I have been. I write letters, I do emails. Yes. Not everyone goes off on people for politics. No, they don't. But a majority do, if you talk about it. I would love a reasonable conversation, Your side, my side, everybody. All these opinions. We need more than one brain to fix anything. We need all of us working together in unison with all our ideas to try and fix some of this stuff and agree on what needs to be done instead of fighting all the time. Okay, you guys are talking to... Yeah, I use a phone. The rich is getting richer and the poor... Yep, they sure are. Booze. Yep, they sure are. Okay, so I'm going to get off of here. Need the pickle sound as a doorbell. Yeah. You like that pickle, huh? No cars, no sight, not me. Yeah. Oh, okay, so it's not you. Okay, thank you. Best Buy deal of day. Reveal magnetic box will track a year. No need to change battery. Anyone can purchase in place view from device of stalker. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I've heard people are putting devices on cars and tracking people. I've heard that, Elsa. Listen, nobody wants to track me, honestly. Tiny homes on wheels are allowed in some, yes, it's true. Yeah, Tuolumne is one that is one of the counties, and I think Calaveras, they're talking about permits for people to live in their car. We have more progressive county, supporters. Bye, Patty. Thank you for joining us. One of the few who should, not really. I don't feel I know enough, Donna Cooper. I really don't. I just use a lot of common sense, and they use all this roundabout words, and they're, yeah, whatever. Claremont. From Florida, hi. Claremont? 10 fresh bell peppers, $6 at the local farmer's market. That's a great deal. And if you can get a dehydrator and dehydrate them, I don't know what foods are going to disappear or not. I've been hearing this for years, but I need more room in my van. Or freeze produce. I have fruit bags chopped onion. Yeah, I've dehydrated the onion and it takes so little room. And it's a little bit better. You can. Van Nuys, you can. I've been making jam. Oh, I used to love to make jam. Always thought it'd be fun to dehydrate things. It is. But it takes 10 hours. I can't do it in the van. 10 hours at 800 or 600 watts or 800 watts. I don't have enough. I have to be plugged in somewhere to a house or something. So I either have to be at Jason's. I was going to give it to Jason, but I said, no, I'm at her house more often and I want to dehydrate. Beth, my dog, would be so happy. He loves to eat a whole bell pepper. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Is your son making... No, Jason's not making dinner for me. He has to go out in a little bit. I'm getting ready to leave. After this, I'm going to leave. Oh, really? Bushnell. Okay. Another thing we are doing is allowing van dwellers to be legal behind businesses like a caregiver, which would also cut... Oh, yeah, that would be great. And really? You must... Beth, you must be in one of those counties. Yes, I love that. I'm trying to find research on it. Maya Jones. Okay, yeah, we got to end it. We've just been carrying... I'm into 12 minutes, an hour and 12. People also put fake money around car to bribe you into. Really? No, I don't... Huh, that's interesting, Pat. Yes, I'm going to say goodbye too. Yeah, I'm going to say goodbye, guys. We got to end this. Thank you so much, and I apologize if it's been way too political. I am opinionated, and my opinion isn't always right. I'll talk to you next time, and I'll see you next week. Good night.